Right, we live once again. Benji's Boxing, Pro Beez, Pep Talk UK. We live. Benji, how you doing, mate? My old friend.
Hello, all, back at the mic with Pro Beez on Pep Talk UK, the #1 place for your news, reviews, previews, and interviews in the boxing world. And there's no place I'd rather be. I'm very well, Mr. Beez, apart from the neighbour with the chainsaw outside. But obviously, the weather must be perking up if people are venturing out to do the gardening on a Sunday. But yeah, I can't complain too much. It was the anniversary of my birth yesterday. I'm 1 year older, and I'm full of the wife's glorious fried chicken and birthday cake. To be fair, for what it was, being in lockdown, we had a very nice day. But my birthday was made complete last night when Pro Beez sent me a text message saying, "Benj, are you ready to come on and talk live about Whyte Povetkin 2? It's going to be a juicy one." And I said, my birthday is complete. This is it. There's nothing I'd rather do on the Sunday. So the appetizer, the preview to the Sunday roast, we're going to talk about this one, and then hopefully, if I can be motivated to, I'm going to go out and try and jog off some of this fried chicken and birthday cake belly that I've got on. Anyway, Pro Beez, I'm waffling already. How are you, my friend? Are you good?
Doing well. You know, the sun's shining, and that might mean that, you know, there's some good times ahead in terms of the lockdown as well, potentially restrictions potentially maybe being eased a bit in the next few weeks. Let's wait and see. But I think the news that we have Povetkin versus Whyte 2, the rematch, kind of made me feel a little bit more better, you know, more enthusiastic. And March 6th, when I think things potentially might be back to normal, we have a big fight ahead of us. And the question is to the viewers is it repeat or is it revenge? Right. And I think before we get to the questions, we'll kind of just talk amongst ourselves first, and then we'll, you know, leave the floor open. So Benji, look, last year, you know, it's no secret, it was a shock last year. You know, Dillian Whyte was in control of this fight, and Povetkin pulled one out of the bag. And, you know, in heavyweight boxing, these are the type of things that can happen, you know, so many people shouldn't be surprised, but this is where we are right now. We're back at a rematch.
Well, earlier this morning, I decided to give myself a bit of a refresher. I watched the first fight back. And not only, of course, was I reminded about what actually happened in the fight, but I was also, more importantly, reminded of what can only be described as the disrespect towards Povetkin. On the lead up to this, because we have to remember that it was a pay-per-view lockdown fight, and a lot of people, maybe myself included, were moaning about this is not a pay-per-view fight. Whyte's going to win this. It's a tough fight, but more than likely Whyte's going to probably coast, win, probably get a stoppage. And it was not seen particularly as a 50-50 fight. It was seen that this Dillian Whyte was going to be able to show his stuff here against an aging opponent, maybe a faded opponent. And watching it back, the commentary, you would have thought that Alexander Povetkin was some guy in his late 40s that is coming off the back of a number of losses, maybe on points or whatever. And he's this faded fighter that once had some success, some glory. But he's faded, and Dillian Whyte's putting on this performance and outboxing him and beating him up. And this was barely a 5-round fight. And by, rounds 3 and 4, especially round 4, because he scored 2 knockdowns, Dillian Whyte was looking the boss in there. He was looking the man. But the commentary, you would not believe that Povetkin was a fighter that has only ever been beaten by Vladimir Klitschko and Anthony Joshua.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy, the stuff that, I mean, I direct this mainly at Adam Smith, but I think he really let himself down on the commentary side of things. So Povetkin goes back to the corner at the end of the fourth after being knocked down twice. He sits down, he sort of shakes his head, has a little chat with the corner. And Adam Smith is describing this kind of beaten man. Oh, he's shaking his head. Does he want to be in there anymore? And it's it's all got on top of him. Comes out within the first, I think it was in the first 30 seconds of round 5. Beautiful slip of the right hand. Dillian Whyte going for that straight right. Beautiful slip. And then an uppercut that can only be described as coming from the depths of hell itself lands, and Dillian Whyte goes down. I mean, that uppercut would have felled anyone. I don't care. That would have knocked out a damn horse and a rhinoceros. And then after the fight, again, it's all about Dillian Whyte and criticism of Dillian Whyte and well, he's maybe not world class. He's maybe not at that elite level. And where's the respect for Alexander Povetkin? He won the fight. He pulled it out of the bag. He did what a champion does. He gets up off the canvas and knocks his opponent out in the very next early stage of the very next round. So what I'm trying to get at here is this fight is much more juicy now, because I think that finally, maybe in the build-up to this, Alexander Povetkin is going to get some of the respect that he has earned and deserves in his career. And I actually lean towards Dillian Whyte slightly. I'm going to contradict myself a little bit, maybe. I actually do lean towards Dillian Whyte to win this fight. I want him to, because I have a bias towards British boxers. But to say that this is any kind of foregone conclusion that Dillian Whyte just made a mistake in that first fight and he won't let it happen again in the second one, and he's going to just get behind that jab and build on what the successes he had in his first fight, I think that's completely sort of naive and not taking in perspective of the big picture here. Alexander Povetkin is a massively dangerous opponent. He really is, for anyone. Okay, you've got Fury and you've got AJ right up at the top echelons of this, but then you've got a pool of very high-level heavyweights that I don't think we're appreciating that much. I think some people still think we're in the dark ages of the heavyweight division that we were in 15 years ago. That's not it now. Below Fury and AJ, we've got the likes of Povetkin, Whyte, in my opinion, Wilder, Pulev. These are good, solid heavyweight boxers that I don't think we're necessarily appreciating, and they're all scrapping it out to try and get a title shot at Fury and AJ. Of course, Usyk I should have put in there as well. Yeah. So look,
Joyce, yeah.
I mean, even Dubois. Okay, coming off a lot.
Joseph Parker.
Need we say more names? Just keep reeling. You can keep reeling them off, can't you? Mm-hmm. We are in a really good era of heavyweight boxing. And it just seems to still be trendy to go, oh, the heavyweights in 2000, they're all a bit shit, really. It's not the 80s or the 90s anymore. It's not Lewis Holyfield and Bowe and Tyson. And that was then, but we've got to start appreciating what we've got. And the mix of boxers that we have now, it's interesting. There's a lot of very competitive fights, and this really is one. Okay, I lean towards Whyte a little bit. I'd love to see Dillian win this one, but don't write off Povetkin. You are mad to write off Povetkin. A repeat can happen, can definitely happen at any moment. Povetkin can show that he can bring out that big knockout shot. He's going to be dangerous as long as he's in there. And yeah, I'll stop talking now because I'm properly waffling now. Sorry, mate.
It's the passion. It's the passion. Now, you're excited for this rematch. Mark 6, baby. All right, let's try and engage the fans a little bit, and then we'll kind of mix and match. All right. So Sliver, Whyte all the way. Okay, you're saying Whyte all the way, but how? Stoppage, knockout. How's it gonna conclude? Let us know.
Some meat on that bone. We want some meat on that bone. You know.
All right, big Dillian Whyte fan there, Sliver. I'm sure. All right, Mr. KWX Ben 1966. Thanks for joining, mate. Appreciate the support. Okay. When the two men are in the ring, the bell rings, the boxers swap punches, then the fight is on. Before then, all we have is speculation. Okay, so what we're saying that COVID could interrupt again, potentially? Maybe that might be what Mr. Ben is kind of referring to.
Well, I think he's just sort of saying, and I kind of agree with this a little bit, and this is why you know, you get people online on Twitter or whatever, and they engage in these massive arguments and debates of who's going to beat who and why and how, and that's fantastic. It is all fun. It's brilliant to engage in this, and it draws attention to the sport, and it's what it's all about. We love a good debate and argument about who could beat who, like the barber shop in Coming to America. We love that scene, and this is why. But it's all irrelevant. It's all irrelevant because every debate, every argument about current fights that are happening, that are signed to fight and will happen, they all end with one simple sentence, which is, we'll see what happens on fight night. That's it.
100%. Who can execute the game plan? You know, who goes out there imposing themselves? Who doesn't make any mistakes is critical at the highest level also as well. And questions about Povetkin. He had COVID and he had it pretty bad. The reports are saying so. Will he be the same guy? You know, will he be the same fighter that we saw last August? We don't know. He's a little bit older now. Is father time going to kick in?
Well, I mean, let's face it. CV, as I said, well, I mean, I think we touched on this with was it the Luke Campbell fight? Because Luke Campbell obviously had a dose of CV19, and I was saying, was that going to affect? We got to remember CV19. It's all about the respiratory system. It hits the respiratory system. What do you need in boxing? Probably more than anything else, you need a good heart and lungs. You really do. Anyone that's done any kind of boxing training, ever done some sparring, whatever, you know the first thing you feel in there is it feels like your heart is going to beat out your chest and your lungs are going to explode. You need those things in any kind of boxing match, especially at the highest level of heavyweight boxing.
And it was interesting to hear Dillian Whyte on Sky Sports. He said, look, you know, I might have been too nice. This time I'm going to be very, very menacing. And if we get the Dillian Whyte that fought against Joseph Parker, I mean, that night he was an absolute menace that night. You know, he put it on Joseph Parker, and you know, he was a constant thorn in Joseph Parker's, you know, side. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I think I think we're gonna have a different Dillian Whyte this time. I think he's gonna go for it straight for the beginning. But we did see when Povetkin fought Michael Hunter did the same, and Povetkin soaked it up and managed to get himself back into the fight. So Povetkin's a tough cookie. He's not just there to be blasted out. So there's lots of questions.
Well, I agree. A fast start is crucial, but again, if you go too fast and you blow yourself out in those first few rounds, someone like Povetkin is going to really exploit that. The other thing I was just going to touch on, I completely agree with what you're saying about the Dillian Whyte that you saw against Joseph Parker. I would add to that, we also need to see a Dillian Whyte with those massive big brass balls that he showed in there with Chisora, because those fights with Chisora, especially the first one, was a real dogfight. He had to take some shots, he had to soak up, you know, and get, you know, fight his way through it. And I think there's going to be elements of that in there. So I mean, if Dillian Whyte can channel the best attributes that he showed versus Chisora and versus Parker, that's what he's going to need on fight night.
All right, interesting, guys. Let us know what you think about the rematch, Povetkin versus Whyte 2, March the 6th. Okay, so Sliver did say by knockout. Okay, by knockout, but what round? Let us know. I know Dillian Whyte will be going for that knockout. I mean, he wants redemption, and the only way to get that is to match it and get a knockout of his own. So this is where I know it's going to be blood and guts.
I think if Dillian Whyte were to win this on points, you know, maybe kind of similar to what AJ did with Ruiz, which was, let's face it, was a very cautious performance. A win's a win now, especially in, you know, a fight where your redemption really, you know, is resting on it. I still think, though, that if this is a close fight and Dillian wins on points, of course he's going to take it. Of course he's going to be happy. Well, to the cameras, he'll be happy with it, but I think he'd go back to the dressing room and he would be a bit disappointed with that. He doesn't want this to be a close fight necessarily. He wants to show that he belongs up there with the likes of AJ and Fury, and that he's a cut above this sort of pool of boxers that's resting below there. So if this is a close fight that he wins on points, I think Dillian that'll niggle him a little bit. I think you're absolutely right. He wants this knockout. He wants to win this emphatically.
It's difficult, really, because, you know, if a defeat was to come again, wow, you know, that it's going to cause massive, you know, effects on his career. But wow, that's the part of caution. You got to be like, well, I cannot make any mistakes, you know, at all, you know. Otherwise, it's the unthinkable.
Yeah.
But I don't think Dillian Whyte thinks like that. He just thinks like, look, let's go in there. I'm gonna have a tear up. I'm gonna try and take his head off and get revenge. Yeah. He's not thinking about the rest. And credit to him, he goes out there and he fights tough guys.
Yeah,
you know, not tomato cans. So we got to credit the body snatcher for that. Okay, Sliver, Povetkin is apparently looking for the KO in this fight. Well, you know what? If Povetkin's looking for the KO and Dillian Whyte's looking for the KO, mate, I'm going to order extra large Domino's pizza, yeah? Haagen-Dazs, Parleys and cream. And this is going to be a great fight.
I mean, well, the old saying, you know, styles make fights. When you got these two who like to have a fight, they're not, you know, they're not pity-patty behind the jab, I shouldn't say that, Mayweather type fighters, you know. These two are out there to land big shots. In the heavyweight game, going by, you know, just having a little think about when you're just talking there, if this one goes the distance, I will actually be surprised. I don't think it will. I think there's going to be a stoppage. I think both men could be down at certain points in this. It's more than possible, but it's a delicious fight. It really is.
All right. Okay. October Red. All right. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. We're definitely going to get October Red on one of the shows in the future. Definitely. Hope you're doing well. Okay. Nicholas John. I think the fight will be boring. I can't see Whyte staying on his toes for 12 rounds. Like Ruiz versus Joshua 2. Whyte on points properly. Again, you were saying it. You know, Dillian Whyte ain't going to be happy with a points win. He wants to go out there and give back to him what Povetkin, you know, managed to do to him. So I don't think it's going to be points. I think it's going to be a straight, you know, knockout scenario.
Again, it's boxing. There's been a number of times in the past where we've had two fighters where we thought we were going to get a really good tear up, and it never quite really materials. I mean, look at say Frampton and Quigg. Frampton and Quigg had a very long build up. We were all ready for a real good tear up with that, and it just never materialized in the fight. However, you know, Nicholas John, he could be right here. I don't dismiss any situation, but personally, I disagree with this. I don't think Whyte is going to be staying on his toes for 12 rounds like Ruiz Joshua. Whyte on points probably. I'd say Whyte on points possibly. I don't think probably. So, but again, you know, we'll see what happens on fight night. But I slightly disagree with Nicholas on that one, I have to say.
Sorry, Nick.
I hope he's wrong. I hope he's wrong. Us boxing fans, we want to see a tear up. We want excitement. I really hope Nick's wrong.
All right. October Red. Whyte psychologically bullied Parker and did the rest in the ring. Well, yeah, that night, Dillian Whyte was menacing that night. And, you know, what I liked about Dillian that night was, you know, the jab. He's got a fantastic jab. When he really doubles it up, and then what he does is he doubles it up and then he comes inside and whips the body shots in. That is the menacing Dillian Whyte, you know, that the fans have grown to love. And the reason why a lot of fans like Dillian Whyte is because he comes to bring the heat, you know. And, you know, more of that I think is going to be needed against Povetkin. He's got to sort of, you know, wear him down and then, you know, go for the finish. Because Povetkin is tough. He's Every single time you think he's done, he just hangs in there. I don't know how he does it, to be honest.
Well, he's a tough guy, and he's a 12-round fighter. That's why he is, you know. He always comes in good shape. I think for a heavyweight these days to be sort of in the 16 stone region, which is what he was in the last fight. White came in around the 18 stone region, you know. So he's a bit smaller in compared to today's heavyweights, and I think that helps in a way with the engine. You know, he's not going to get because he's not carrying so much weight around the ring for 12 rounds. He's not going to get as gassed. But again, you know, as I said at the top of this, we're in a different era of heavyweights now. It's not 15 years ago when you had the Klitschko's and then everyone else was really fat and out of shape and, you know, just couldn't be asked to make cruiser or light heavy. We've got genuine heavyweights that have skill and are coming into the ring in good shape these days. You know, I'd argue that people like Ruiz, how Ruiz came into the ring, especially in the second Joshua fight, I'd say, you know, he's the exception these days. Most of these heavyweights that are looking to get the titles, they're coming into the ring in shape.
Definitely. You talked about Ruiz. I remember that moment before the fight, I saw a video clip of Ruiz at a restaurant. I think it was before the Joshua fight, the second one. And I think he was having pizza. And then he said, "Oh, don't tell my coach." I remember that the you know, the video was focused on that, him eating the pizza. But you know,
well, what I thought was strange about that was on the build-up, earlier in the build-up, there was like articles coming out that Ruiz was like taking it really seriously and he was looking trim and all this sort of thing. There's pictures of Ruiz looking, you know, he's lost weight or whatever. So I think, you know, for your average sort of casual fan who reads sort of gets their sports news from tabloid newspapers and online sources, they must have got a real shock when Ruiz got in the ring, because it's like, where's this guy that we've been told was like focusing on this thing and looking to make it, you know, a repeat. But saying that, when Ruiz got in the ring that night, I couldn't believe it, to be completely honest. To what was the biggest fight of his career and could have cemented, he could have ended Anthony Joshua by a lot of counts. He could have ended Anthony Joshua's career at the top for a good long time that night, whilst boosting his own profile, hanging onto the belt, setting himself up with fights with, you know, mega paydays with Fury, Wilder, and God knows who else. But to turn up like that, I still can't believe it. I still can't wrap my head around it. Why the hell do you do that? You know, but there you go.
Yeah. All right, guys, smash that like button. Subscribe if you ain't subscribed. Dillian Whyte is getting a rematch with Povetkin March the 6th. Let us know what you think. Predictions, please. Comments, points, whatever. All right. I am Marwa fan. Dillian will win on points this time, inshallah. Okay. Points. See? This is coming into the play now. People are saying that it could be points. And maybe they're saying that based on the fact that neither would want to lose. So sometimes that might, it might mean that they might hold the handbrake up, so that could happen. But even if it's a points win, I don't think it'd be a boring fight. I think these two are going to go at it, definitely.
Yeah.
Guys, smash those likes, smash the like button. Benji, Pro Beez, Pep Talk UK. Okay. Povetkin has his own agenda. Do not underestimate Povetkin. He has an impressive CV. And this is what we was talking about. Generally, he's fought the best out there. He's fought the best out there. With only 2 losses also as well. So the guy knows his way about the ring.
Well, I mean, let's not just focus on Dillian Whyte's path to the top and title challenges. Povetkin, he's not there to make up the numbers. I know that he'd love to have a rematch with Anthony Joshua, and he probably, he's a high level. Povetkin's a high level heavyweight boxer. Just as Anthony Joshua knocked him out, he probably believes, just like White believes, you know, he probably thinks if I get back in the ring with AJ, I reckon I can do a bit better second time round. Povetkin is looking at his own career. He's going, well, I ain't getting any younger, but if I dust off Dillian Whyte a second time, maybe I can get a rematch with AJ. Maybe I can get or the winner of Fury and AJ, because I personally believe that fight's going to be announced very, very soon. But that's, you know, I've got no insider knowledge or anything like that. I feel it in my plums, man. I feel it in my plums that is going to get announced soon. But, you know, again, I'm positive. I'm wishful thinking, so who knows. But anyway, Povetkin is not just there to fight Dillian Whyte and then go home. Povetkin is there to fight Dillian Whyte, win, and then put himself in a position where he can challenge the likes of AJ, Fury, or make another big payday or two before he sails off into the sunset.
All right, guys, get your comments in, your predictions in for Dillian Whyte's rematch with Povetkin. All right, so we've got a Whyte KO. We've got Whyte on points. There's not been many Povetkin so far.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I did a poll on the community tab, and I think it was like 75% to Dillian Whyte. So most people are convinced that Dillian Whyte is going to do the business this time. So,
well, I think you also need to sort of expand your outreach a little bit more and get a bit more of the Russian community come in. I think that might have something to do with it as well. Maybe we conducted a few of these in Russian. You know, we'll both have to polish up our Russian, obviously, but maybe that would, you know, sway things. But it'd be interesting to get an insight to the Russian equivalent of Pep Talk UK and the Russian equivalent of Pro Beez. You know, maybe in their chat, it's all about how Povetkin's going to do the double.
Pep Talk Russia.
Yeah, I'd love to see the Russian Pro Beez. I really would.
All right, guys, smash that like button. Subscribe if you ain't subscribed. Okay, so Povetkin is going to get his back blown out 100%. Okay, see, there's a lot of people vying for Dillian Whyte here. All right, let's flag up a really good question. All right, here we got one against already. Okay, here's one. Hopefully Whyte gets KO'd. Okay, so do you want to explain why, or?
Yeah, I Neckel, you've got to put some meat on the bone, people. If you want to see Whyte get KO'd, tell us why. Who has upset you? Who has hurt you in your life? Tell us.
Yes. All right. Okay. Guys, smash that like button. Subscribe if you ain't subscribed. Okay. Nicholas John again. Okay, I think they're having their discussion in the chat. Okay. Whyte was in boring fights. Hellenius fight was Marius Watch and Dave Allen.
Come on,
but every fight has been in boring fights, though, isn't it? Every fight has been in that position.
Stars make fights, but come on, Hellenius, Vac, and David Allen. I would not put them on the same level as Alexander Povetkin personally. And you know, we've seen in the past as well. A number of boxers have had to take mandatories and these sort of fights that they couldn't get up for. They gave a flat performance against an opponent that they should have beaten much easier. You know, when you looked at the matchup on paper, and they gave a flat performance, and it was just like, well, I can't get up for this, you know, because it's not a big name, or it's not for a title, or you know. And I think that those are kind of examples of that. Dillian Whyte cannot box in this rematch the way that he boxed Vac, Allen, or Hellenius. He can't afford to do that. He can't afford to have a flat performance. So, yeah, every boxer has had boring fights or flat performances, and there's a number of reasons to do with styles, what the opponent's doing, and whether they're motivated to actually be in there and put on a performance. Dillian Whyte cannot have any of these thoughts, when he. I can't find the words, Beez. But Dillian Whyte cannot afford to have a performance like that in this fight because he'll get beat again. There's too much riding on it. He's got to be up for this. He's got to be motivated, and he's got to put in a world-class, high-level performance against a high-level operator.
All right, guys, get your points in. Smash that like button. All right. Okay, Franklin Mamp. Okay, if I beat you once, I'll beat you twice. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. You know, I think, you know, this time round, Dillian Whyte will be a lot more, you know, switched on the danger of Povetkin. You know, I must admit, a lot of time I watched Povetkin, I thought the other fighter was in control, and then all of a sudden, you know, the direction of the fight has changed. You know, so. Hey, you never know. Depends on who's the bet on the night and the game plan also as well. It's quite crucial.
Absolutely, and it's against at this level, you can't have one game plan. You got to have an A, B, and a C. You really have. And to be honest, Povetkin in the first fight, whatever plan A was for Povetkin, it wasn't working, and he got put down twice in round 4. Came out round 5, showed his class, was able to make an adjustment. Maybe he was bringing in a plan B, and plan B obviously resulted in a knockout within the first 30 seconds of the round. You know, this is a high level of boxing. Both of these guys are going to, and their teams are going to come in with not just plan A, they're going to have A, B, and C, and it's all about the execution of that.
Mm. And do you remember last time round, you know, Dillian Whyte had made a change to his corner quite late on in camp.
Yeah.
This time round, he's got Xavier Miller a lot longer, you know, to work with. You know, they have to understand each other now. You know, they've had time to, understand each other. So, again, you know, that might have been a factor the first time as well. You know, getting used to your trainer, the corner, the instructions. So,
because they had it was David Caldwell was in that corner as well.
Last minute, yeah, that was last minute. So,
yeah,
planning-wise, it wasn't ideal. Yeah.
Do you know, is he going to be in the corner for this one as well?
No, they brought in Harold Knight.
Right, okay.
Harold Knight, who worked with Lennox Lewis for many years. So,
right. So again, yeah, I mean, because Zav is obviously a friend of the channel. You've had him on. Well, I mean, we've had him on these live chats before. He's a really interesting guy, and you know, obviously, really knows his stuff. So yeah, I mean, these could be key factors as well.
100%. Guys, get your points in, get your questions in about the rematch, Povetkin versus Dillian Whyte. All right. They're having a good old argument in the chat, which is interesting.
Good.
So, all right. Okay. James Everall, really don't think the Whyte fight is PPV, to be honest. And if it is, it should be $9.99 or thereabouts. Okay, look, this PPV thing now, there's a lot of talk about it. In every fight now that's pay-per-view, people are questioning as to why. I think it's difficult because there's no crowd right now. So the boxers need to be paid if you want big fights. But then some would argue and say, well, we're paying for the channel anyway. So where do you kind of stand with all this right now? Do you think it's the right thing now for big fights?
Well, 100% right. If I'm paying a subscription to Sky, I'm already doing pay-per-view. I pay to view every month. So the way I see it is, look, in an ideal world, what I would prefer is if people, you know, I've got my Sky box back there. At the moment, I am not subscribed to Sky Sports because I didn't feel I was getting the value from it. And that's honestly the truth, because you know, as we discussed before, I don't watch a lot of football. The boxing, the non-pay-per-view boxing that was on there was kind of drying up a little bit, and it just didn't seem, the value wasn't there. I couldn't justify it. But so and because there were so many pay-per-view fights, I thought, well, I'll just drop the subscription and I'll just pay for the pay-per-views, you know, for these bigger fights when they come along. In an ideal world, I personally think that if you're subscribed to a channel like Sky, there shouldn't be a pay-per-view charge on top of it because you already are. However, people who are not subscribed and just want to watch the odd boxing match here and there, hit them with the pay-per-view. That's a much more kind of fair way of doing it. This, of course, is an ideal world. And as you rightly say, that people need to get paid. But it's not just the boxers. The promoters need to get paid. The managers need to get paid. The sponsors need to sponsor, and they need to get paid for something as well. So there's a lot of people involved with that. What I'm trying to say in a clumsy way, as normal, there's a lot of people involved in this that need to get paid, and that revenue has to come from somewhere. And it's very difficult for that revenue to show up, especially when you not allow people in the arena. So it has to come from somewhere. Now, again, near the top of this, I said that I didn't think the first fight was pay-per-view. It didn't interest me that much, but the way the fight played out, I was like, well, actually, that was, we saw one guy down twice in round 4, and we saw another guy get completely cleaned out in round 5. So what more do you want from a boxing match? Also, we have to take into account the undercard with these pay-per-views. With these pay-per-view contests, it shouldn't just be about what's top of the bill. I want to see some really good competitive fights on the undercard. We need to see more value there. But for this fight, I would actually argue that there's more reason for this fight to be pay-per-view than the last one, because we got a result that we weren't really expecting from the first fight. And there's much more intrigue now on whether it is going to be repeat or revenge. So I'd actually argue that there is more reason to have this as pay-per-view. Now, James Everall's always also put on there, it should be $9.99. Pro Beez, can you fill me in maybe? How much is the pay-per-view for this? Because I don't actually know.
Good question. I think it's, I don't actually know myself, but I'm assuming it will be closer to £20 as usual. But I'm sure we'll soon find out. We'll soon find out. But,
I mean, that is quite £20 is steep for watching something on TV, isn't it?
What do they pay in America? $80 for a super fight. So there's an argument there, you could say, but again, you want big fights. Unfortunately, in the pandemic, I guess, we have to pay for it, for the super fights, that is. But again, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. What I would say is the Zone's $1.99, right, subscription for their app is amazing. Those fights that we've seen over the past month, well, if they keep it like that, they'll pick up even more subscribers.
Absolutely. But this is it. I mean, I've been saying for a long time that the future's online. It really is. I mean, look at how like Netflix has shaken up that whole side of the industry on film and TV. I mean, you look at the shows that have been on Netflix. You want to watch a series, just off the top of my head, Cobra Kai, something like that. That on Netflix, you're never going to see something that good on regular TV or whatever anymore. The budgets are bigger because these online platforms are appealing to a global audience, not just a single country or audience that like the BBC or ITV is appealing to. So it only makes sense that these online platforms are probably going to start taking over. I'd much rather pay DAZN $1.99 a month, and get quality fights and things rather than be subscribing to Sky. I think, Sky, BT Sport, these sort of things over the next few years, I think they're going to have to relook at the model. Really do.
$1.99, the price of a Happy Meal. Fish fingers with a fruit shoot. Can't go wrong.
And I remember watching Ben versus McClellan on ITV. I remember watching Eubank and Ben. Times change. Things are constantly changing, and I believe, with the likes of Ricky Hatton and that, Sky really took over there, and Prince Nazim obviously as well. I think the era of subscription and then pay-per-view TV in its current format, I think it's coming to an end. And apps like DAZN, I'm not, DAZN ain't paying me any money. I've got no reason to pick up DAZN, but I'm saying that idea and that style of platform, I think is really going to take over.
All right, I think I've got some smoke coming my way. Pro Beez, why is everyone saying Whyte's going to win the rematch when we know that Povetkin has a better chin and boxing skills is just bias? Okay, I think people are saying that Dillian Whyte's going to win the rematch based upon the first 4 rounds. I mean, Dillian Whyte was in control, and he put him down twice. And aside from that, there was one moment, obviously, that happened in the 5th round. So people are kind of basing it that Dillian Whyte won't make the same mistake as he did in the 5th last time. And they're looking at the first 4 rounds saying, okay, on the basis of probability of not making that same mistake and the performance of the first 4 rounds, then it's a Dillian Whyte victory. I'm just putting it out there. But,
I think this is a really good comment. And I think it's a justified comment. And it kind of echoes a little bit of what I was saying at the top of in my opening rant. You know, anyone writing off Povetkin here is not looking at the bigger picture. Povetkin has a better chin. Well, possibly. I mean, he's only been knocked out by AJ. He's been hit with, by some of the best in the business. This isn't a guy that gets wobbled and knocked out or whatever regularly. It doesn't happen. So he has a proven chin. Then again, at heavyweight, the size of these people and how hard they hit, anyone can stop anyone. But, you're never going to get anywhere with a glass jaw. But I do think there is a bias there. And I do think.
Hold on. Sorry, Benji. We've got special guests in the building.
Yo, what's good?
Body snatcher.
Give me one. Yeah,
no worries.
What you telling me?
Hey, how's it going, man? We're just talking about the rematch, and part of our team body snatcher just rolls into the chat. How's things?
I'm good, man. I'm just enjoying my lockdown. I'm treating it like in Portugal, after I train, play some computer. That's about it, man. I'm just online playing computer. What's good? What have I missed, man? That inform me, man.
Okay, so the fans are just having their say on the rematch. They're talking about the first fight. They're talking about what's going to happen March the 6th.
What's the feedback? What they trying to predict?
At the moment, it's more Dillian Whyte.
Yeah.
And a comment that was in favor of Povetkin, but I think what we're saying is it's going to be a war, and the fans are going to be the winners either way.
Yeah. I feel like boxing's always going to win at the end of the day because we're getting a good fight. I just feel he's going to I said this from the first one, and I feel the same way he's going to demonstrate his boxing technique. I think that's something what Dillian, I don't think it's been really highlighted as much as well, but we saw flashes of it as he was, kind of breaking him down a lot, which he's got the boxing IQ, man. So from watching Dillian train and seeing everything that he does, he's got a beautiful boxing IQ, man, and I feel that he's gonna demonstrate in this one.
Would you say, like, this time, would you say the game plan would be just to go in there and just take Povetkin out real early, or still be a bit wary and just kind of wear him down and then going for the knockout later?
It all depends, but we know we're gonna see a fight. I feel that I feel Dillian's gonna put on a monster show, a class of boxing, but finish him in style and give him the KO.
Oh, because I was thinking, look, this time round, I want to see the angriest Dillian Whyte, like proper maximum violence. I
feel that's what we're gonna see. I feel that's gonna be what everyone's gonna see. The angrier version, the savage. You know what I mean? I feel from looking at it, he was patient in that boxing, sharing the IQ, catching, hitting. You know what I mean? The boxing was excellent what he's doing, but I think for this time he's gonna probably just go for it, man, and that's what it looks like, man.
All right, I'm joined by my co-host Benji. Benji, anything you want to ask John Harden Jr. about the rematch? This is music to the fans' ears. This is what we want to hear. We want to hear that Dillian Whyte is coming into this ring focused, wanting to get even the score and everything like that. It's fantastic listening to John talk about it, and I tell you, I cannot wait for this fight. A focused, determined
angry Dillian Whyte against obviously Povetkin, very tough guy. He's not going to lie down. He's not there to make up numbers. Just like John said, the fans, boxing, we win. I cannot wait for this one, Beez. I'm getting excitement here, man.
No, you know, we're all excited. Hey, John, what we're going to do is we're interacting with the viewers that have joined us on the live stream. So we'll direct the points to all members of the panel, right? So let me direct one at you, okay? All right. So this is Styles Make Fight says, Whyte has no chin, hurt by everyone he fights, even by Hellenius, and has been knocked out multiple times. He will never be champ. So this is Styles Make Fights was cheering for Povetkin.
As it's a bit harsh to say, I've been knocked out multiple times and then will never be champ. As long as you got the will and desire, I feel that you can keep pushing on. You know what I mean? I think it's a bit harsh from to put down another fighter and say that he will never be. It's all about how he believes, and I feel that as boxing fans, this, like I say, boxing's winning. We're gonna get the fight that we want. We're gonna be entertained, and we're gonna be able to talk about this for years. So, yeah.
Right, 100%. 100%. Very diplomatic answer, man. You didn't go into the rage, man. It's just very diplomatic. John Hearn Jr., man, he just does this media stuff with ease, man. I've known him for a while. It's just like this is easy for him. Piece of cake.
Try him, man. Remember, you've been there for me, man. You know what I mean? You're one of my first people, interviewing me. So it's a pleasure, man. But it's things we face as fighters. We're gonna have people commenting. We're gonna have people putting us down. You're gonna have people hoping against the person you're fighting. You're gonna have people saying you would win, but it's all the love of boxing. It's just the love. This is even he's needed. These comments are needed in boxing, man. We won't be able to. We won't like for it here. Hearing that, it's fired me up. I want to go hit the road and go on a run. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like it's wonderful. Like we need them to fire us up, man. You know what I mean? So I just love the sport. I just love boxing. I love fighting, and I'm a fan as well. I love it. I just love it, man.
Hey, just before we get back to the rematch, what are your plans for 2021?
2021 is to fight, to win, and be a champion. That's what all the fight is. It's never changed. It's never changed in my mindset. I just can't wait to just rock and roll. I love it. I love the game. I love the sport. I love the fans. I love the entertainment. I love it. I love being on camera. I love fighting. I love the sport. I love the opportunity it gives. I love the views. I love the opinions. It's just all part of it, and I just can't wait to shake, rattle, and roll. I just gotta continue to heal up, and then I'll be ready to rock and roll.
And what I've got to say, about Team Body Snatchers, the whole camp is they get in there with tough guys. Guys that are competitive, guys that are tough, not plumbers and electricians. I mean, no disrespect, but they get in there with tough guys, and it's a fact. You see Fabio Wardley, who's fighting Medina as well. I mean, look, you went with Linus Udofia, Jack Cullen, tough guys. Look who's Dillian's beating with as well. I think the motto is, look, we go in there to, have competitive fights.
But you know what it is as well, yeah. Okay, it's us as individuals. We just love it. You know what I mean? And at the same time, if you're not willing to take risks, it makes life boring. You know what I mean? I've had so much of you step up, at least build up some experience or whatever. But it's just like it's entertaining for myself, challenging. I love challenges. I'm addicted to them, and it's also the buzz of boxing. Like as soon as you see the lineup or that we're involved, there's a fight gonna happen. You're gonna be entertained. You're gonna be glued to the screen. You know what I mean? From the build up, from the press conference, I just love the and I'm very I'm privileged for even the feedback I get, the entertainment I bring to there, and that's what us as a team, we're trying to trying to bring back boxing what was lost in, we had the era of the, let's say, last was more or less the 90s, 80s. You had we saw Ray Leonard versus how many, Hagler and Hearn, like the best were fighting the best. Those days were past until we're like, as a unit, we're bringing back those days. You know what I mean? We're not trying to just be like, all right, let me just protect my record and swerve so much people and then fight. It's like, listen, let's just. So at the same time, we're doing our bit for boxing to just bring the love back of competitive sport for the fans.
Man, this is what I say, man. Hardy Jr., he speaks so well, man. I see you running for president, man. Sierra Leone real soon, man.
You got jokes. You got jokes.
Yeah, I mean, John, have you ever thought about doing some motivational speaking and that sort of thing? Because I think I'm not taking the piss. I tell you what, I'm hyped now. I've been drinking this pre-workout for the last hour. Tell you what,
John Hardy Jr. body, baby.
Rocky 4 soundtracks going on. I'm hitting the road some miles after this.
Hey, man, the motivation, John Hardy Jr., man.
Yeah. No, man. You're a character. No, definitely, man. I'm just proud that I'm just, I'm me, and and I'm accepted. Boxing has made me, for me, just being able to. From when you see, if you know me, from when you see me behind this, you see me on camera, or whatever, I'm just me, and it's just opened me up and feel good. Even for you to say that, I feel so wonderful that I can just be accepted as just being me, being my character, whether it's me joking around or whatever. I just love everything of the sport, what it's done. So yeah, man. Thanks, man.
All right. Okay. So, all right, H Money. Saluting Benji, saluting got the States in the building. H Money,
We got H Money,
Devin Haney. All right, we're gonna try and get Haney on here real soon. All right, so are we expecting a live PA like Pesto? Maximum violence.
Live PA. What you want a live PA?
Maximum violence.
We should. If you gave me a warning, I would have definitely you know what I mean, got something for you, but I can probably put together a live PA for you.
Yeah. Okay. 16 bars.
If that's what you're. Actually, let me get my system going and see if I can go and get a little something pumping.
The theme music for,
you know what I mean?
Team Body Snatcher, Maximum Violence by Pesto Superstar.
In the building, number one.
See, no other boxing channel's going to give you this. No other boxing channel's going to give you this at all. This is where you got to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. You need this in your life.
100%, Benji. Exactly. Subscribe. Live PA. 16 bars.
All right. We're just
John Hardy Jr. Actually,
okay. Introducing myself, John Hardy Jr. We're about to go live, and we're gonna violence.
You ready?
Violence, maximum. Are you ready for it?
Right.
Listen. Oh, Lord, sir. Lord, let's go. Militant satisfaction when I'm chilling them. I know it sound right when it comes to the fight. All I could do is think about killing them. Inner thoughts thinking out loud. Face off, look at me now. I get a crazy sensation when I smack a jaw and that man lays down. I'm on the edge, feeling the leap. I'm hitting punch bags in my sleep. This was to get acquainted with this cheat. Might catch a body by accident. Violence volume turned up maximum. But can I get a moment of silence? I'm feeling for some maximum violence. Maximum violence.
All right. John Harden Jr.
Okay, that was live. Only one
was...
only person I did that for is Pep Talk UK.
Yeah,
you know,
thank you, sir.
Glad today you can see this exclusive.
Drop a flame emoji for Pesto Superstar. I'm just gonna have to say like Tim Westwood. Damn, man, damn. Holla, Tim Westwood. All right, guys. All right, we've got John Harden Jr., Benji, Pro Beez, Pep Talk UK live chat. Let's talk about Dillian Whyte versus Povetkin, part 2. Fire away with the questions to the panel. All right, where we at? Okay, they're dropping the flames. They're dropping the flames for the freestyle.
Cheese, champ.
Okay. All right, guys, get your questions in. All right, so, all right, H Money from the States, Team Devin Haney, H Money. All right, Pro Beez, Dillian Whyte must use footwork and jab to win the rematch. He can't be flat-footed. Benji, over to you on this one.
Well, yeah, movement's going to be good. It's got to be good. We know that Povetkin does like to come out control centre of the ring. He's an aggressive fighter. He doesn't like take a back foot, back step even. Dillian Whyte, massively long arms. If you can get a bit of range on him, and then if Povetkin gets past that jab, Dillian's always got those big hooks to go down to the body and work that way. But I think with having the importance of the jab, to keep a bit of range, pepper him with it, soften him up a bit with it, I think the jab could be key. And coupling that with footwork to create some angles, I think that could be a nice tactic as a plan A to start off with early in the first round, to try and establish the jab, establish his position in the ring. There we go. I got there in the end. All right. So like John Harden Jr. at Pesto.
Yeah.
Again, footwork. You know, for a guy that Dillian Whyte's facing, that is 41, I believe. Moving around the ring. You know, he's had COVID-19 as well. Obviously, he's just getting his fitness back. You know, he won't totally be what he was last time. So it's footwork key to kind of beat him up with a jab, move around and wear him down.
Yeah, I think footwork is going to be key, and this jab, and I think Dillian's got both those tools. What he's used, that guy recommended. With Povetkin, his strength is when he needs to be planted and set up. You know what I mean? Like he plants himself in a position and sets up the shot. So if you're moving, there's no way that someone could plant and set up. So footwork is going to be key, because it'll be difficult for, if someone's always constantly hitting and moving, Povetkin's going to have a lot of difficulties with that one.
Right, guys, smash that like button. Subscribe to Pep Talk. If you ain't subscribed. John Harden Jr., Benji in the building. Get your points in. All right, hold on. Who does? Okay, this is a good question now. All right, I know where this is leading to. Who does Dillian fight after Povetkin? Well, Eddie Hearn said he wants to make the fight a wilder. Wow, that would be some fight, guys. Some fight. I'm just trying to imagine the build-up. Like, wow. How much security would we need for the press conference between Dillian Whyte and Deontay Wilder?
I think we're going to need the whole world there, man. You know what I mean? We're going to need the whole world there, man. Because that's 100%, man. Well, on what it looks online, you know, they both. I know Dylan's not going to hold back anything he says. Probably Wild, his people ain't. You know what I mean? Hopefully, we don't have a Royal Rumble there with all the camps. You know what I mean? That would be definitely the build-up. I think will be one of the most exciting in history. You know what I mean? So hopefully it does. You know, I don't know what it is with Wilder. What I've noticed in boxing, you get people, they'll say one thing in camera, and then when it comes to actually it happening or something, it's always different. You get so much contradicting stories where it's always, you don't know who to believe. and being in certain situations where I started realizing there's one situation when you're there, and there's a situation when it's getting told on camera. It's two different situations. So if it happens, I'll be so happy if it does. But if it doesn't, I'm not shocked.
All right, guys. Are we experiencing a bit of feedback, Benji? The sound. Are you on speaker? Anyone on speaker?
I've had just a little bit of sound issue in the hearing, but I think it's got better now. Just going on that subject, the thought of Dillian Whyte and Deontay Wilder. To be honest, there's not many fights in the heavyweight division I want to see above that. I love the idea of Whyte and Wilder. Big fights, historical fights have big historical storylines to go along with them. So the build-up for Whyte and Wilder would be fantastic. Trash talk. I think when the two got in the ring, I think it would be an explosive affair to say that fight can happen.
Right. Pesto, have you got a bit? Have your is your phone on speaker? Are you on?
I'm on what? What do you mean, loudspeaker or?
Yeah, no, we're just getting some feedback. I'm just trying to see where the feedback's coming from.
There's nothing. I can't think of it being.
Oh, yeah, we've got a bit of feedback. I don't know why, but
I see the mic. No. Yeah, I'm good, man.
Right. Okay. Wow. All right, guys, get your questions in, get your points in to the panel about Dillian Whyte taking on Povetkin for the second time. The rematch. It's going off, definitely. Okay. Styles make fights.
Yeah, they do.
As us English fans, we never keep it real about our boxers. If they're good, they're good. Let's not call them great. Look what we've done to Kell Brook. Okay.
Well, I need to break down. What did we do to Kell Brook, man? Kell Brook was a great fighter. He just tried to be his best that he can be. He attempted to go further. So I don't know what can I knock Brook for that, for trying to be great, to go against Crawford and Spence, one of the two best pound for pound welterweights currently, and you know, Crawford, who was, you know, undisputed at 100
pounds.
Cleaned up at 135, was the first to dismantle Gamboa, and Crawford attempt, like, you know, we were trying to make British boxing another level. So we just still be second to America. So we not try? Or should we just settle and say, no, we're not good enough, don't go and try? He attempted greatness. No, we should commend him. He should be welcome back. You know what I mean? You gave us the sport. We watched it, and we saw greatness in there that he attempted, and we saw how great Crawford is. I mean, there's someone that was once. What did Crawford start? Was it 130 or 135 to do one?
130.
To do that, and then come against Brook ain't no joke. To eventually come and do that. Come on, man. It's all commendments to Brook for what he's done for British boxing, because you're still keeping the eyes on our sport.
And let's not forget, he went over to Sean Porter's backyard.
Hey, that is a win. Sean Porter's like, no one wants to. He wants to fight in Sean Porter is hell. That's going through hell to fight Sean Porter. You're getting dragged into a rugby match. It is hell.
Sean Porter is just a clear dog fight. Sean Porter.
It's a dog fight. No matter what, it is a dog fight. No one wants, even if they beat him, no one wants to rematch him. No, why? Who to the hell you go just to get a W? No, it's not easy. It's not a walk in the park. You know what I mean? And Kell Brook did that. So just commendments to him, man.
I honestly think with British boxing fans that we're too quick to go extremes. We have prospects coming on, and people do like them. People do get a bit excited a bit quickly, and then when there's a slip up or when there's an unexpected L go in there. Then we're very harsh to knock them back down. Oh, well, they weren't anything anyway. They got overhyped and whatever. And then when we have like a boxer like Cal Brook, after everything that John's just said and everything that's pointed out in Cal's career, the people he's been in with, the challenges that he's taken, to then sort of say, oh, well, he wasn't great or anything like that. We're so quick to then rubbish someone's career who was a world-level boxer, who took on, Gennady Golovkin. No one else really wanted it. He had the fight with Errol Spence. He had the fight with Crawford. Okay, he didn't do so well on that. But we're just so extreme. So at times, whether it's either picking people up or knocking people down, why can't we find some sort of realistic, appropriate middle ground? So be prepared to give credit for its doing, knocking down Kel Brook, saying, look at what we did to Kel Brook. What did we do to Kel Brook? We supported him. People should have supported him in those fights. We did. No one ruined Kel Brook's career or made him out to be something that he wasn't.
Right. Okay. We're getting some bad echo. Okay. Is anyone on speaker? 1 second. So Pesto, if you just mute your mic for me 1 second, let's just test this out.
We say mute it, yeah.
Hold on, that's clear now. Hold on 1 second. Benji, sound check.
I'm unmuted now. Everything good?
Yeah, it's clear now. It's clear now. It's cleared up now.
Is it back? Was it all right?
Yeah. I think it's the speaker. It's the feedback from the speakers.
Lord.
So do you know what it is? Okay, what we'll do is just be on mute until we ask the questions. I think that's the best way.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
You see, the freestyle was so lit, it's just messed up the microphones. That's what it was.
All right. Okay. Everyone was saying it sounds terrible. Okay. All right. Apologies. Okay. There was a good question that I saw right before. All right, here it is. October Red. Once again, I'd like to see British fighters traveling to USA and Mexico to gain experience in sparring at world level. As soon as they turn over to be pro, if not experience through Olympian level. Excellent point. Let's ask John that question.
So was gain experience in sparring at world level as soon as they turn over to pro, if not experience it. Yeah, listen, if there was they've got a way that any boxers can gain experience through that, that would be, that would be a wonderful idea. I can't imagine what that would have done for myself in my career, turning over and getting all that valuable experience. Because for me, I've at the point where I lack experience, had the heart, and I've just said, you know what, only way I'm going to get experience is if I just go in the deep end, if you know what I mean, and go with people that's had more experience than me or had more amateur experience or whatever, and had to learn that way. So what he's saying is beautiful, but in the reality is no one. That's if everyone's, how can I say, there's a care for the grassroots or whatever of British boxing itself, then yeah, we can build. But other than that, remember, you're in the professional game where it's dog eat dog and business, and it's just go in there and get the win. If you can't, you can't.
I'm sure we saw, what's this guy? Richard Reactor. He went to Cuba, and he got some experience in the gyms out there.
Yeah, beautiful. He went out there and was training there. Yeah, and got off his own back, his own pocket. Yeah, he went out there and went for his experience, which is beautiful. Should be be promoted out there a bit more. That people just traveling, or maybe boxing networks, people get in contact and offer their services. That there's gyms available, just like us here, to offer people abroad there. You can come and train and that. But that is definitely something that everyone in the boxing world should probably just more open up and have their you know, they're welcoming boxers to come and train.
Right, 100. All right, Benji. Should we be concerned that recently, you know, a lot of our fighters have gone abroad and they've come up short against, you know, foreign opposition? You know, Luke Campbell, Kell Brook, Callum Smith. Is there a problem that's underlining at the moment?
No, I don't think you can pick out a common thread there, really. I mean, these are boxers that are all coming from different gyms, and they're coming from different backgrounds. They've had different amateur backgrounds. They've had different Olympic experiences. So I don't think there's necessarily a common thread. Again, and the opponents that they've been beaten by, they've not all necessarily been one nationality or from one gym or have a similar or the same boxing style. It's just one of these things. We go back to styles make fights. I don't disagree with what October Red said there. I think that anyone, you know, in sport, by traveling and training with people from different gyms and of different styles and backgrounds is only going to benefit. But no, I don't think there's a common thread there. But I have to say, because I am an amateur coach, I do have a little bit of a bias. I do like to see boxers go through the amateur ranks, get some championship experience, maybe some Olympic experience, and go that way. I mean, we always talked about the traditional route as well, where boxers win, you know, an English or a British title, and then they go to European level, then world level, and this sort of thing. Again, it's about this learning experience and how you gain that experience. Some boxers, you know, you do get freaks that don't seem to need that amount of amateur experience, but I would suggest that they're more the exception to the rule. I personally, I don't think you can beat a really good amateur background, to be totally honest.
All right, guys, smash that like button.
Can I ask you one thing? Do you see, as an amateur coach, from what I've experienced, a lot, I don't know, from the amateurs I get, some of them just want to, I don't know, I've had it where people just kind of look at the glitz and glamour of the professional and want it like that kind of now, kind of want to, do you get that? Do you get a lot of them wanting to be patient and building an amateur? If you know what I mean, I'm just wanting to wonder, because a lot of what I've got is that they just want to know about pro and turning, and they're thinking, you know what I mean, pro's more of a dog eat dog, if you know what I mean. It's more, you know what I mean, no one's really, it's about business, if you know what I mean. In business, there's no really caring as much as the amateur thing. So yeah, yeah.
Well, I think it's a very interesting question. I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. I mean, if you take someone that comes into an amateur gym who's maybe not had a great upbringing, they've, you know, there's not a lot of money in the house, they're from a poor background, they might have had some issues in their life, they're going to look at the pro game and they're going to see all that money, all that glitz and glamour. Of course, it's going to be appealing. It's going to be massively appealing. And with circumstances being what they are, if you need money, if you need to earn a living, and boxing can perhaps put some food on the table, that of course is going to entice people to turn pro as quickly as possible, whether it's the best thing to do or not. So I think circumstances really dictate these things. Also, I think it's also dependent on coaches giving advice to boxers, sort of saying, well, you know, if you're not in dire need of making, you know, earning a living or whatever, if you're in circumstances dictate that you can spend time working your way through the amateurs and that you can do some championships and you can maybe go on to the Olympics, you know, I think that a coach might try and steer their boxer in that sort of direction. So I think it's an interesting one, and I don't think there's necessarily a simple sort of cut and dried answer. You know, we're all born into this world in different places and at different levels. We don't all have the same starting line. And I was only talking to my sister-in-law about this the other day, and it's not fair. And unfortunately, I think some boxers do have to sort of turn pro maybe a bit sooner than what we necessarily like. For, you know, it might be a case where we'd say, well, if this person, if they could go for a few championships, maybe get an Olympic shot, in the long run, that's going to benefit the career. But if it's someone that's just like, well, look, I've got kids to feed, and I've got some issues, I've got some bills to pay. Boxing's a way of doing that. Sod this amateur stuff. I ain't got time for all these championships and Olympics. I need food on the table and bills paid now. It's a completely different set of circumstances, and we all have to kind of respect and understand that.
Hey, that's a whole new live stream on its own, isn't it? Grassroots.
Yes.
Definitely. John, what was your amateur career like? How many amateur fights do you have?
Lord, at the back. I was doing amateur like from, I think I was only from 2008 to 2011, but I had like 10 in between. I was on and off, and I was smoking a lot as well. So I wasn't in. I'll have my time where I'll be a bit committed, and then time doing my stuff on the streets and stuff. But if I could go back in time, or if there was any amateur watching this, I would just say it's free experience. It is just free experience. All right, if you take a loss, it is an experience. You win, it's an experience. You can't buy experience, because it's only now what I'm lacking is the experience, if you know what I mean. So if I could have gone back in time, experience. So any amateur, I always tell them, listen, you don't have to sell no tickets. You don't have to, even a professional, all right, they want it, but if they can't continuously sell 100, 150 tickets consistently, how are you going to make it as a pro? How are you going to continue? You're going to have dead hard fights, which it can be against you in so much ways and damage your career and your dreams. So experience is the best teacher there is, man.
And it's not always a guarantee, even with an accomplished amateur career, that you will win a world title. I mean, Dillian Whyte, very few amateur fights, and look what he's achieved.
And that's just constant, never giving up. You just have to not give up. You know what I mean? From when he's gone in the deep end against AJ from early, like, just never gave up, and he just keeps bouncing back, and we'll see in this fight as well.
All right, Whyte Povetkin 2 is on the horizon. Let us know what you think is going to happen. You've got a part of Team Body Snatcher in the building. If you missed the PA, you can watch it again when the stream's finished. It was something special, it was something epic, Okay. Right, Umar Sadiq. Yeah, Umar Sadiq is in LA at the moment. I think he's going to do some stuff out there, boxing wise. Okay. All right, we've got a whole new topic. Guys, let us know what you think about Povetkin versus Dillian Whyte 2. All right, so John, just back to you, right? Dillian Whyte brought in Harold Knight into the team. Nobody knew up until the other day. What's it been like for Dillian, having a little bit more experience also alongside Xavier Miller?
You can't, like I said, you can't buy experience. So he's in charge of, if he's got his vision, he knows what he's needed, and he's adding to everything, man. You know what I mean? On top of Xavier Miller, that's just sometimes you have faith in your team. You give people, remember, you can pick from anybody that he wanted. You know what I mean? And to have Xav something special. There's something special he sees in him, and willing to build with him, and acquiring another new person on top is just adding in on top of making things better. What he sees he's lacking, he's making better.
All right, guys, get your predictions in. I think there's a bit of feedback. I think I might be The one with the dodgy mic. All right. Okay. All right, Pep Talk, is this a regular Sunday show? We're trying to make it that. Guys, smash that like button, subscribe. Oh, there's a cat. Your cat's in the building. Part of the live chat, yeah?
She's just annoying me. She just wanted to see what was going on. But yeah, I don't know. I thought I'd just give her an opportunity to give her opinion on Whyte and Povetkin, but I don't. I think she just wants feeding, to be honest. Typical cat.
All right. Okay. All right. So look, Benji, I think the majority of people have said, look, Dillian Whyte's going to get revenge. But obviously, you said, look, we need to all be cautious about this and not be overconfident. Povetkin, this whole COVID thing, he's been out for a while and he's just sort of got himself back into full training. March is not far away from right now. You know, we're in mid-January. It's not far. Is it enough time for him?
Well, surely his team have taken all this into account. And if there were any sort of, if it looked like there were long-lasting CV-19 effects on him, I don't think that they'd necessarily look to take the fight or agree to the fight. They must be confident that their man is going to be in shape on fight night and has shown good signs of recovery and no lasting effects of the old CV-19. They must have taken this into account. So I think we have to be confident that we are going to see the best Povetkin in there and we're going to see the best Whyte in there. And let's face it, they both want to win this because, like we said before, we talk a lot about Dillian Whyte's path and him wanting a rematch with AJ and him wanting to win titles and things like that. Let's not forget, it's exactly the same with Povetkin. He wants to show that he's not quite over the hill yet. He wants to show that he can maybe have one last run at the gold. Whether people think, you know, I saw in a comment earlier that, you know, Povetkin would have no chance in a rematch with AJ. Look, that might be the case, but in his mind, in the mind of the professional boxer who's got his eyes on the prize and the gold and everything that goes along with it, he will have in his mind that if he can get a rematch with AJ, that he will believe that he can cause an upset and win it and get those titles. So, you know, make no mistake, Povetkin has got a lot to motivate him in this fight.
Right, we just lost John Harding. I'm sure we'll get him back. All right, guys, get your predictions in for Whyte versus Povetkin 2. All right, Phoebe Christian. Dillian's second fight, Dillian bangs up Povetkin in six rounds.
Well, it's possible. It's possible to happen. I mean, I've just said to someone in the comments, someone said, oh, so you're betting on Whyte to win. And my reply was simple. I don't bet on boxing anymore because there's just so many things, so many variables that you can't really take into account. And, you know, we love people picking rounds and we love explanations why. Look, it's possible. Is it probable? I'm not too sure. I wouldn't be putting any of my hard money on a specific round. I wouldn't encourage people to do that either. But you never know. I'm sure that, you know, if you offered Dillian Whyte, if you say, oh, you know, you want to knock this guy out in 6, I'm sure he'd have your arm off for it, you know?
Right. Benji, how are you for time? We've got 2 more questions, right? Two more questions before the cat goes mad. Yeah?
I think she's gone now, so we're all right. We're okay, mate.
All right. I think if Povetkin loses this, he'll retire.
Possibly.
What do you reckon?
Again, it depends on circumstances of the loss. If he gets wiped out in a couple of rounds badly, then yeah, of course it's possible. If it goes 12 rounds, maybe not. But again, Povetkin is, I just get the feeling that someone like Povetkin is a good man for people like Eddie Hearn to have on the speed dial, because when you're bringing through a heavyweight and you want them to have a stiff challenge and a good name on the resume, Povetkin's the man to sort of provide it, isn't he? So I think even with a loss to Dillian Whyte here, I still think there's fights and paydays for Povetkin to have. It just depends on, you know, his own circumstances and whether he wants to carry on his career and stretch it out, and whether he's one of these boxers that doesn't know when it's time to call it a day.
All right, last question before we get out of here. All right, Phoebe Christian, in the first fight, Dillian ran out of gas. He looked tired so early in the fight, so hopefully he can fix that, as fitness seems to be a massive problem in the heavyweight division in this era. I didn't see that in the first fight.
Yeah,
I didn't see that in the first fight, to be honest.
No, I don't. Ran out of gas? I don't think so. I mean, it was round 5, and it wasn't. You look at the knockdown, it wasn't because Dillian's hands had dropped and he was looking knackered and all this sort of thing. Dillian was still in shape and he was throwing, and he just got. It was a slip and an uppercut. It wasn't a knockdown caused by fatigue, in my opinion. Fitness seems to be a massive problem in the heavyweight division in this era. No, I don't massively agree with that. I think fitness was more of a problem sort of 10, 15 years ago, when everyone other than the Klitschko's and at one point David Haye was mixing at heavyweight, when everyone else seemed fat and overweight. And I don't think it is that issue. And John's back, and it's great to see John Harding back.
He's back.
Yes. Thank you, sir. My phone just done I was like, it overheated. It's like, choo, and I was like, huh? But yes. Anyway, I'm here.
Okay. All right. One of the viewers said that he thought Dillian ran out of gas in the first fight. We've kind of said that we didn't see that in the first fight. I mean, did you see any elements of fatigue from Dillian in the first fight?
What fight are you talking about? In first fight of
Whyte Povetkin, the first one.
No, he looked controlled. It looked like he didn't even get to go into like another gear. He was just, catching and shooting. He was just patient. He was just too patient, very patient, and that was it. He was letting him set, and then anything wrong, he was just countering and catching him. Okay,
guys, we've got a couple more questions left, and then we're out. So literally 3 minutes to go. All right, Povetkin versus Chisora. Pesto, what do you reckon? Good fight?
Yeah, it's war, isn't it? Chisora just brings war, man. You know what I mean? Chisora is another war savior of British boxing. You know what I mean? He just brings entertainment, no matter in what he does. And Chisora just, you don't know what he just pulls out of the bag. Like he will just go out of the blue and just, just like, it's Ashe Takam's classic, you know what I mean? To be looking like, you've given him no chance. And I remember I was in the change room there that day watching it, thinking, Takam's having this. And all of a sudden, boom, heavyweight boxing, it's just one punch. It's just one punch. The beauty of it's just such a beautiful thing of boxing that you could just turn it around. You know what I mean? So, that will be, oops, Lord. So that will definitely be a big fight, man. For boxing, I would love to see that.
Okay, guys, smash that like button. One more question left before we out. Who's going to be the lucky viewer?
All right. The suspense, tension.
Yeah, the prize raffle, the raffle. Okay. Chisora will be one of those boxers who will box into his 40s. Like Povetkin. I mean, look, John, you've been a pro for a little while now.
Yeah.
The rigors of training. How does someone like Povetkin keep up with it?
Lord, I don't know. I presume he's got a right team. Obviously, he's been, and to be in it for so long, you've been an Olympian. You know what I mean? There's people haven't been in actually like consistency of boxing. I'll say since the last 4 years or something, I've been consistently in the gym, in and out. to be so long, that is, you know, boxing is wear and tear on your body. You know what I mean? And to be for that, I have to commend him to be at his age and to doing that. You know what I mean? They have to you know, you have to have the right team, the right specialists that are looking after him, eating well, you know, knowing when to rest. That's why maybe he didn't just jump back into the rematch. He couldn't maybe have physically have done that, and he's probably been advised or whatever. Maybe, I don't know, but that could be the only thing in where, you know, he's been prolonging, you know.
All right, we'll just conclude with some predictions. Benji, finally, how does the fight go? March 6th.
You know, I love to support the Brits. I always love to support Brit boxers. I'd love to see Whyte win this. I'd love to see him get a bit of redemption there. I'd love to see him then push on and get more, you know, get another title shot, this sort of thing. I want to see him in that fight with Deontay Wilder. So I want to see Whyte win. I think he's capable of, but he's got to be absolutely on point, can't afford any mistakes. And saying that, just because I want Whyte to win, just because I hope he wins, I am not writing off Povetkin at all. Povetkin is damn dangerous, and he has shown his pedigree and his experience on numerous occasions. Do not write off Povetkin. I hope Whyte does the job.
Pest, kind of conclude? Predictions? How's it going to go?
The fireworks, but I see a KO for Whyte's going to win by KO. I see 6 or 7. Let me narrow it down. 7.
Round 7.
Yeah.
Wow, lucky 7, yeah? Cristiano Ronaldo's number. Man United, lucky 7. All right, guys, look, it's been a pleasure for you joining the live stream. Benji, want to shout out your channel before we go?
Yeah, people can follow me on Twitter at the Benji Life, and of course, I've been putting some stuff in the chat as Benjamin and that. I've got my own YouTube channel. We're a bit sparse on videos at the moment, but there is more to come. The British boxing schedule's been put out. I am going to be doing my own previews and reviews and little predictions and ideas on contests. So I am going to be uploading more content soon. So please subscribe to my YouTube channel, which at the moment is Benji Boxing.
Subscribe. Pesto, anything you want to conclude with?
Just want to big up everyone that's locking on, you know, support us, support everyone, support these type of movements. Everyone that's, you know, waiting, just, you know, for me to come back. I'll be back very, very, very soon. And anyone that's going through hard times at this point, just stay focused, stay active. And hard times are not hard times; they're just the process for the good times. Bless.
Speak so well, man. Pesto for president of Sierra Leone, man. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thank you.
Bless, guys.
Tech Talk. Thank you. Subscribe.